So I'm going to begin right away by looking at I'm going to go straight away to see sorry that I'm going to start.
Luis, sorry to interrupt. Are you having trouble seeing the screen?
Yes, I had some little trouble. I think I'm fine.
Are you seeing now?
Yes.
Okay.
So we'll have some land acknowledgement, but before then, maybe I can do a short prayer and then we will go ahead. So we're going to do a short prayer. Wheresoever you are, please let us commit let us commit our institute into the hands of the Almighty. Whosoever you believe the Almighty is, we will ask you to submit yourself to the Almighty and to ask that may this session go on well. As we begin today, and we're going to be here for 3 days, we pray that may the Almighty guide us, may the Almighty protect us, may the Almighty grant the speakers safe journey if they are traveling, and may the Almighty ensure that our sessions go well. Thank you so much for praying. Thank you for asking God to protect us. So let us move forward now to land acknowledgement, and I'll ask Lynn to do that before we move ahead. Lynn?
Thank you, Luis. Those of you who are in Canada will be familiar with the idea of a land acknowledgement. If you're not in North America, what is known as Turtle Island by our First Nations people, you might not be familiar with the land acknowledgement. I am currently based in Hamilton, so this is the acknowledgement of the land where I am. The general idea is that we need to acknowledge that where we are located, that the land that we are on is has a history, and I won't spend a lot of time talking about why we do land acknowledgements, but it's a very important recognition of the history and the situations that the people in any place have gone through. So where I am is Hamilton in Ontario, what is now known as Ontario. And as I read this, I would ask you to also think about the land that you are on and what the history is of that land. So the city of Hamilton is situated on the traditional territories of the Erie, the Neutral, the Huron-Wendat, the Haudenosaunee, and the Mississaugas people. This land is covered by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, which was an agreement between the Haudenosaunee and the Anishinaabe people to share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes of this area. We further acknowledge that this land was covered by the Between the Lakes Purchase back in 1792 between the Crown and the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. Today, the city of Hamilton is home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, which is now called North America, and we recognize that we must do more about the history of this land so that we can better understand our role as residents, neighbors, partners, and caretakers. So thank you. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Lynn, for that. I still want to come back to welcoming all the participants for this session. I would like to welcome especially members of the PIRL network. The PIRL network is a very big network made up of so many members. Most of they are found just all over the world. You're all welcome. If you are here and you are not part of the network, you can actually join the network by writing to us at pearl@utoronto.ca. We will be delighted to talk with you and to see how far you can contribute to our network. We have a network of partner organizations as well. You're all welcome. Our partner organizations include, we have a list of partner organizations. The first partner organization that I can tell you about is the International Center for Disability and Rehabilitation, which is based in the University of Toronto in the Faculty of Medicine in Canada. The second is what was previously known as the Canadian National Institute for the Blind. It is also in Canada. And we heard at the beginning, the coordinating unit of Association of Persons with Disabilities. It is based in Bamenda. It's coordinating actually a large number of associations, about 4 or 6, I think. And they are with us here. You're welcome. We have David Berman and Associates in Ottawa, Canada. We also have the Northwest Women's Association of Persons with Disabilities, of Women with Disabilities, based in Bamenda. They are quite important. We know about gender and gender mainstreaming, and we now have this gender as well as disability in some sort of a double jeopardy. We're going to hear that from them at some point if time permits us. We have Stark Enterprise, Bamenda, as well as the University of Bamenda. We have a number of colleagues from the University of Bamenda and huge support from that institute. So those are the key partners of the PIRL project, and we are welcoming them.
Not to forget, yes. World Blind Union.
World Blind Union, yeah. So thank you, Lynn. We welcome World Blind Union in Toronto, in Canada, and we want to thank you all for all your support. If you find us doing anything, it is the joint effort of all these partners. We would like to also welcome each and every one of you. And to do that, we also want to know a bit of where are you joining us from. We've started getting people telling us, so you can go to the chat and tell us where you're joining us from, and maybe a little bit about your land. That will help us. We know this is an online conference institute, and once you tell us where you're coming from, it builds the confidence in us, and we begin to know each other and learn from each other, and we are happy to know that these are actually people who are joining us and not anybody. So please feel free to tell us where you're joining us from. We are very happy to have you, and we would love to continue to network with you. We would love that you mute your videos as you join us, mute your microphones as well. That will facilitate, that will help so that you will not interrupt the other participants. We also know that because of bandwidth, we may not want to use our videos quite often because it may affect the bandwidth and our internet. But at some point we could ask you to do. That's why we are thinking that only the speakers should put on their videos so that we can actually see them. So feel free to participate in our chat as much as possible. We will be monitoring and getting your inputs. And we know people are joining from different places. We just heard that in Burma that there is no electricity now, and that is, it happens like that, especially in North Africa. So please feel free to indicate to us where you're joining from. We are going to have an overview of our program and to see exactly what we are having at any time. So I'm calling on Lynn to give us another overview of our program. Thank you for joining us, Deb from Toronto, Canada, as well as Neo Silverlin. Lynn, you have the floor.
Thank you, Luis. And just before I go over the program, I wanted to give Dr. Mary an opportunity to greet everyone. We'd love to hear your voice, Dr. Mary Atanga, please.
Okay. Thank you very much, Lynn. Thank you very much, Luis. I'm so happy that many people are in this institute. This means that if we multiply our numbers just by 2, we're going to touch many lives. And it is the lives that we touch that make us real people in PIRL. PIRL, as we know, is inclusive for disabled. And so we're welcoming everybody that is here who is able and who is disabled. We are not saying somebody is disabled. You are just living with a disability. You are not disabled. So we welcome people from Toronto. We welcome the ones from Bamenda, Bafoussam, all over. And I must say, Bamenda is a land that is made of different tribes, different people who came from different places. So you have the Bankas, you have the Bantus, you have the Tikas, you have Fulanis that make up what we call Bamenda. And there is nobody who will say, I don't belong to one of these ethnic groups that I have just listed. And so we know each other. And those of us that are from here, we know each other. We know Lynn, we know some of us that are in Toronto there that we've seen over the other Zoom meetings. And so I welcome everybody on board. Please, let's feel free to ask our questions. Let's feel free to be very clear. Whatever is not clear to us, we'll get it clear, because I will not be ashamed to ask a question. I'll ask my stupid questions, and I know the presenters are going to answer. And so everybody should feel free to ask their questions, and the presenters will answer. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming on board.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Dr. Mary.
Thank you, Mary, for that. Mary is a strong researcher in public health. She is the Vice Dean in charge of research and cooperation in the School of Public Health in the University of Bamenda. So we feel free to get to her for any issues as we go ahead. We'll be giving details about each of them. It's just a very long CV, same like Lynn Coben, who is I must say some veteran researcher in she is an occupational therapist. She is a professor in the University of Toronto, etc., and she is lead of the PIRL project. So I want her to give us an overview of the program. Lynn, you have the floor.
Thank you, Luis. It really is a pleasure to be here again and with everyone. Before going over the program, I just wanted to go over a few of our sort of housekeeping things around using Zoom. So if you are not familiar with Zoom, please get to Stefan. We've tried to share his information as much as we could so that people know to contact him. We are not going to have a lot of opportunity for participants to use their audio in the next few sessions. It is going to be fairly one way because we wanted to make sure that we had a chance to share information with you. So today is very sort of one way. We will be encouraging you to use the chat as much as possible. And Luis and I will be monitoring the chat as well as other people and sort of conveying questions and comments from the chat. So having said that, I just wonder if we could try a poll. How much data analysis have you done? So you should see something on your screen that asks you how much data analysis have you done, and you should be able to select one option of none, a little, a few projects, quite a bit, a lot, or you don't really know what we're talking about when we talk about data analysis. Our sessions over the next 3 days are going to be on data analysis, so we just wanted to get a sense of who's in the room as we think about data analysis. So, and while we're doing that, I'm going to try and turn off my notifications here we go, because I wanted to know when people were joining, but now, now we know that you're here. We also hope that you're able to open the participants list so you can see who else is in the room. Please do that and be chatting. You can chat with people as a group. So make sure that if you want to send a message to everyone, you're sending the chat to everyone, but you can also send a private message to people individually, and you do that by selecting their name in the drop-down list when you go to the chat room. So we have 34 people in the room, but only 16 have responded to our poll. So where are the rest of you? I'm going to give a couple more minutes and see if people are able to respond. Are you having trouble responding to the poll? If you're having trouble responding, please put your hand up or put your mic on and tell us what kind of difficulty you're having, because we will be using some of these interactive tools and we wanted to make sure that they're working for you. So I inadvertently ended the poll. Oh, no, maybe it's still, I made a mistake. I thought I had ended it. I thought I had it open and I, by mistake, closed it, and then I relaunched it and I lost all the responses. So let's try that again if we could, please. How much data analysis have you done from a research perspective? And we know that there's a wide range of experience in this group. So, and this is anonymous, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. I am still learning Zoom as well. So as much as we've been using Zoom for the last few months, I'm still learning all the features. So we have 18 responses. I'm going to end the polling now, and I'm going to share the results with you. What are you seeing? Anyone like to do a small interpretation of these results? Luis, I'll put you on the spot. Luis, your microphone is off.
All right, I'm here.
Okay. Are you seeing the results? Can you tell us what you see?
From the results, like 4% says, no, 22% for participants said none. A little, 5 participants, that's 28%. And a few projects, some have 4 have participated in a few projects, that's 22%. And 5, 28% in a lot of, and then there is nobody who does not know about data analysis. So 0%.
Thank you. Anyone want to give us an interpretation of these results? What does this mean to you? or if you have another question that this brings up for you.
Eileen, this is Julius. So I see from these results that this institute is very important because there are some, we have some people who haven't done data analysis, although there's nobody who doesn't know anything about data analysis, but we have people who haven't done data analysis, so it will be very beneficial to a lot of people. And for those who have done, just a bit of data analysis, it's also an opportunity for us all to discuss data analysis and get to learn new things today. As we interact with one another, then we share knowledge, and we'll be able to put that knowledge into practice after we've gone from this institute. Thank you.
Thank you, Julius. That's great. Anyone else want to interpret the results in any way? Anything else that you see in these results?
Hi, Lynn. This is Vitalis.
Yes.
The results is just telling us that we still have a long way to go by my interpretation of it, and that most especially, well, reasoning out the results in relation to persons with disabilities, I think persons with disabilities still have much to do as far as data analysis is concerned. So in fact, the bottom line is that much is still to be done, especially concerning persons with disabilities.
Thank you, Vitalis. So we'll move on. I want to now go over the program with you for the next, I know you have all received, so what's happening? I did something wrong. I know you've all received the program, and I hope you've had a chance to look at it. But we just wanted to quickly go over some of the sessions so that you're well prepared. I think you're seeing my screen now. I'm showing the program that was sent out. We have a welcome. Here's the information for Stefan. If you don't have it, you can find it on that first page. We then have a list of the partners, which Luis has just gone over. For each of the 3 days, the Zoom link will be the same for all 4 sessions so that you can easily come in and out of a session. We would suggest that you leave it open if you possibly can. You can turn off your microphone and your camera, of course, and walk away if you need to take a break. But it's one link for all 4 sessions. We are currently in session 1 of day 1. We are then going to have a presentation about just an overview of data analysis from Dr. Komita. He's going to help us to really think about what data analysis is. And then we have a panel discussion, which we're really looking forward to. It's going to be quite interesting to hear from 3 different people about how they approach data analysis and their perspectives on doing data analysis. We end the day with Julius, who's going to give us an overview of qualitative analysis by using some examples from our PIRL research study. And this will just give me an opportunity to remind you that we thank all of you for doing the survey. I think most of you have done the survey. The questions are available in PDF format in our Google Drive. So if you'd like to see all of the questions, they're available for you to look at. Julius will be drawing from some of the responses. Of course, it's quite a long survey. I think 70 something questions at the end. And so not everyone saw all of the questions because we did have branching, what's called branching logic, so that depending on what you responded to a particular question, you would not see questions that were not so relevant to you. So that's our day today. By the end of today, we'd ask that you just reflect on different approaches to data analysis, and particularly thinking about data analysis in development. Some of you know the DEPICT model. We're going to be focusing on the DEPICT model tomorrow to talk about doing participatory group analysis of qualitative results. So the article is here. If you don't have it and you would like it, let us know. At the bottom of each page are links to some of the other resources that we're providing. So we're really delighted that there was a student group who decided that there should be some student sessions. You will have received that information as well. The student sessions follow the 4 main sessions each day, and today's session is on making documents accessible. There's also a link at the bottom of the page for giving us some feedback, and then also a link to the Google Drive where we're putting all of the resources, the slides for the sessions, any other materials that you share with us. So day 2 and day 3 follow the similar format. The Zoom link is at the top of the page. Tomorrow morning, we'll be starting with a discussion of quantitative data, and that will be a working session. We are still looking for a couple of facilitators for that session. So if you're available and you would like to do some facilitation, let us know. Then we have a really exciting 3-part process. Dr. Stephanie Nixon is joining us to share her expertise on the DEPICT model. And so the first part of this session will be, she's going to introduce us to the DEPICT model and go through some of the key points. Then we'll work in groups, and we will be grouping you based on the amount of experience you have, as well as your affiliation with the PIRL project. So if you are not able to join us tomorrow, please let us know, because these will be small working groups, and we really want to have them set up ahead of time. So the way it will work is during this session, we'll begin together, and then we'll put you into working groups, and you'll work in a small group. And then we'll come back at the after that hour and have some discussion about what happened in each of the groups, what your insights are about doing data analysis as a group. Again, the links for the day are at the bottom. And then the third day is drilling down a little bit more into some of the tools that we would use in analysis. So the first session on day 3 will be using common software such as Word, and I think particularly Excel. There's a lot that can be done with Excel, and Dr. Sukai has a lot of experience, and he's going to be sharing that with us. Unfortunately, Dr. Njabaye is not able to join us. He sent us a message yesterday that he had to travel. And then the second session on day 3 will be on doing analysis using more complex software. So we'll be talking about NVivo and SurveyMonkey as examples, but it will just be an introduction to some of the tools that can be used. And then we'll end day 3 with some further discussion. This will be structured with some questions. We will for sure give you opportunity to share your questions and share answers among the group. I will say one of the things that we'll talk about in this session is that we will be doing interviews with people as a follow-up to the survey. So we will take a few minutes on Wednesday to talk a little bit about doing the follow-up interviews based on what we learned from the survey. And so you can be thinking about that as we go through the next couple of days as well. If you were going to set up an interview about disability inclusive development research, what kinds of questions do you now want to ask? And then we will end up with our closing ceremony. We'll make sure that everybody has shared resources, ideas, reflections, and we will end on time at the end of Wednesday. There are, as I mentioned, daily evaluations, and we would really encourage you to take the 5 minutes to do the daily evaluation at the bottom of each page. And then we will be following up within about 2 weeks with a longer evaluation as well. So again, if there are things that you would particularly like to know about from the others as part of our evaluation project or evaluation process, let us know and we can add those to the questions that we'll be asking. Now, one of the things that is really challenging with these online meetings is this whole idea of socializing and getting to know each other. And Luis talked a little bit about that. Some of you joined us this morning before, or earlier today, I should say, before we actually started. We will have the Zoom room open for a couple of hours before we formally start each day, and for at least an hour after, probably more like 2 hours. So feel free to use it to connect with other people. If you would like us to set up another meeting room, for example, we know that there are a number of people from organizations related to visual impairment. Welcome to all of you, including the folks from Ghana. So it might be that you want to just take half an hour and have another meeting. We'd be happy to set up another Zoom room for you if you want to have a sort of hallway meeting or a more informal meeting at some point over the 3 days. So just let us know if you'd like that. We're also thinking it would be lovely to share pictures and stories about where we are. So we've set up this form. Let's see if this works. Are you seeing my screen still? Maybe you're not seeing. Let me share again. So there is a form that you can go to, tell us your name. You can add a picture of yourself, add a picture of maybe the food that you're having while you're attending the Institute. Since we can't all eat together, maybe we can at least share some pictures of the food, or if you're having a beer. One of the things that we know we can do is, we can have a glass of wine while we're having this and nobody's going to know. Or maybe at the end of the day. So feel free to share a picture of how you are staying refreshed. And if you'd like to send a picture of your neighborhood, your house, the building that you're in, feel free to do that. And any other short story about your situation, maybe it's something you had to do to participate in the Institute, anything else that you would like to share with people informally, and we'll put these together into some kind of collage or you know, a shared document that will help us get to know each other. You can definitely go there more than once, I think. I think we've set it up so that you can go more than once. And like I said, there's other ways of connecting with people. Feel free to chat with people. There is a private chat function in the Zoom room, and feel free to use that. Let me pause there and see if there are any questions or comments. About anything that I've said. Patience, do you have your hand up?
Yes, hi everyone. I joined the meeting a little bit late. My name is Patience. I'm a student at U of T. I just want to mention about the chat you're talking about. The chat is disabled. I don't know if that's just for me or everyone.
It doesn't seem to be disabled for others, but
I can see the messages from Louise.
okay.
I can type.
It is, Lynn, it is for me, it's Jane.
It's disabled?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry about that. It was working earlier. And people were able to use it. So
Yes,
Please,
now it's good.
It's back now.
try now. I have tried
Back
to.
now.
Is that okay?
Maybe one of our co-hosts did something to it.
Now it works.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you
All right.
very much for pointing that out, Patience. I'm really sorry about that. I hadn't realized. If there's anything like that at any point, interrupt me. I would much prefer to have an interruption so that we can continue to be using the chat than to have people not be able to participate. I really thank you very much, Patience. That's great. Any other comments or questions? Okay. I'm going to go back to, I'm going to try and go back to our slides. And one of the things that I don't think we've talked about yet is how we spend some time trying to figure out closed captioning. So for those of you who are not familiar, closed captioning is a really important aspect of making sessions accessible. It is an expensive service to have someone do the closed captioning, but you can do it using PowerPoint or Google Slides. What we haven't been able to figure out is how to do it so that it picks up everyone's voices all the time. So when you go into Google Slides, there is, and you go to present view, there is the option of doing captions. And then once you turn that on, the person speaking their words become transcribed into text, and I think you're now seeing the closed captioning. As we practiced this a lot, we found that it worked for some people and not for others. And we were not able to figure out why, when I have it on my system, other voices are not picked up. So my first question is, do we have anyone in the room who is more familiar with this closed caption function in Google Slides than we are and could help us problem solve this? Maybe not. Okay. Well, if you have any ideas, let us know. We will continue to try and work on it. It's also a bit challenging, I think, because with Zoom, it works well, as you can see, for what I'm doing now. But it makes it more difficult for, if you're the host and having the slides, it makes it more difficult to navigate some of the other aspects of using the Zoom. So we're still learning. I will just go through the slides. I think we've done all of this. We haven't tried the whiteboard, so let's try the whiteboard. The whiteboard should be available. I hope it's available. If anybody is familiar with using the whiteboard and can try it and see if, oh, maybe it doesn't work if I'm sharing my screen. I haven't used the whiteboard that much. Jane, you're there. Are you able to help me with this?
I don't think you can use it if you're sharing your screen.
Okay, thank you, Jane. So let me stop sharing. And then, do I have to open a whiteboard? It's, all of a sudden it's disappeared for me. Okay, we will work on this and see if we can get it going for the next session. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen, I think. So we've talked about Zoom and the overview. We really want to thank all the people who have agreed to be speakers, facilitators, moderators. This is such a group effort. We are a small group. We don't have lots of funding. People have been working so hard to put this program together, and we just have so much gratitude for all the work that people have done. I did want to say a little bit more about the PIRL survey. We have somewhere around 50 responses. I mentioned that the PDF of the survey is available. PIRL does have a SurveyMonkey account, and as PIRL partners, if you're part of the PIRL project, we can make that SurveyMonkey account available to you. So let us know if you'd like to do a survey. We will be using some of the responses through the discussion and the presentations over the next 3 days. So just quick recap. Today we're thinking about data analysis. We've done that poll. Tomorrow we are deepening our skills. I was going to try and do another poll, but I think I'm going to not do that at this point. Day 3 is a discussion of tools and strategies. And we have another poll that we will do at a later date. Many, many thanks to those of you who are facilitating small group sessions. We know that this is a bit of a moving target. We're not quite sure how many people are going to be with us. We have about 50 people who registered, a few other people who are joining late. It looks like we've got about 30 in the room now, which is a really nice number. So, and at least 5 or 6 countries represented. So it's really a great group, and we just want to thank you all. We will get the whiteboard sorted out. I think we've got the polls sorted out. There is a link to the Institute resources, and this is where we will put presentations, recordings, handouts, reading lists, and it will be open for a few days after the Institute ends. I was going to try and do the whiteboard and say, where are you joining us from? But I don't think we're going to be able to do that. I think we've got the chat function sorted out. When I'm sharing my screen, it's hard to see the chat. So although I do see, I think it's working. Leslie is asking, will the recording and other documents be available at the end of each day? Yes, as maybe not quite at the end of the day, we will try, but if not at the end of the day, certainly by the next day, and certainly by the end of the week. We will be having breakout rooms, and that will be done automatically from our end. So you just have to show up to this main room, and then we will put you into breakout rooms when we're using the breakout rooms, and you'll be in a small group with others. We had thought that we might have a WhatsApp group running in parallel to the Zoom sessions, so that people who are not able to join Zoom, for example, those in Bamenda where electricity and internet is really bad, that they could follow some of the discussions on WhatsApp. It would not be exactly the same experience, but we thought it might be a way to at least have some connection with those folks. Excuse me, however, we haven't been able to get that set up. Might be by tomorrow we have that organized. Just a reminder to those of you who are PIRL partners that our website is there, and if you have updates, please share your updates. And for others, our resources will be available on the website as well. So our timing is that each session will be 50 minutes, starting right on the hour and going to 10 minutes before the hour, with a 10-minute break in between sessions. We will be pretty strict about that, except for right now. I see that I've already gone over time. So I think I'm going to end there. We're going to take a 10-minute break. Well, we're going to take a 6-minute break and come back at the top of the hour. Thank you all very much.